This is Support is Sexy, episode 187. Find a way. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so happy to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And I have to tell you, this episode might not be the same because we ran into a little bit of a problem. So down here in the dirty South in Georgia, when there is a storm, the storm tends to knock out all of the power. Okay? So if you're like me and you're a night owl and you do work from your home office in the evening, the power goes out. It becomes a problem because you can't get online. Well, mainly, that's the whole thing. I have an online business, and when I can't get online, that's a problem. Now, of course, I can still record, which is what I'm doing right now, and all of those things through things that don't require me to be online. But getting this post up, having you all hear it, that's going to be a bit of a challenge because we have a bit of a storm here and a power outage. But here's the thing. I had a whole different episode planned, of course. But what struck me in this moment after my quick little panic about, oh no, how am I going to get something up for the podcast, was find a way. Pause for a moment, take a deep breath, find a way. There is a way that you can do this. So the first thing for me, get out my laptop, which is on about 46% right now. So we got a little bit of time. Get out the laptop because I've been working on it all day. Record the episode, and then figure out how you're going to get it posted. Maybe you can drive to the local Starbucks, which I think stays open till 11 o'clock or 1 a.m. or something like that late at night, to use their Wi-Fi if their power is on. So I'm not saying all of this to bore you all with the details of how I'm going to get this episode up because honestly, I don't know. But here's what I do know. I'm going to find a way. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Think about some of the things that you've wanted to do, whether it's quote unquote bigger than just getting some content up, which is what I'm going through, or is something that is simple, but that you've given up on just because you ran into some kind of hiccup, a hiccup outside of your control. In my case, a storm, a power outage. It's out of my control. No point getting angry. I'm going to instead focus on getting around it. How do I find a way? So what I'm offering to you all is that you reflect on things that you might have given up on, thrown away, passed on, just because you felt like there was an obstacle, you couldn't find a way, or let me correct myself, not you couldn't find a way, you chose not to even try to find a way. And sometimes we like to use the excuse that something came up, something happened, even if it was beyond our control or something we just didn't do to see something through. We use that as an excuse for why we didn't do something, when really we probably could have found a way if we were willing to stretch, to go outside of our comfort zone. And by comfort, I mean, comfort as far as your own confidence, but literally comfort. For example, me, I might be running out in the rain with my laptop to go to a Starbucks to try to post this. Whatever it takes, though, how will you make it happen if it's something that matters to you? That is a thing, too, for me. You all matter to me. The podcast matters to me. Getting the message out there matters to me. Being committed to posting 5 days a week matters to me. So how am I going to make that happen? When something comes up against you, a storm, for example, the lights go out. Okay, you might have a moment of, oh goodness, what am I going to do? But then it's, what should I do in this next few minutes? What's the next right move, as Oprah says? What is the next right move as far as getting this task or this commitment completed? What can I do to keep this commitment not only to your audience or whoever you're doing something for, but to yourself? A lot of times we give up on things or let obstacles stop us. We probably give up on it easier when it's something for ourselves, right? For other people, we might go a little bit further. For ourselves, we simply give up, toss it to the side. Don't do that, though, if it's something that matters to you. Find a way. What's the next thing you can do? How can you get around that thing? How can you go through that thing? How can you understand whatever that obstacle is and think of how it can make you even better? Maybe you came up against some obstacle for a reason. You need to rethink something, re-strategize, think of a new way, talk to some people to help you get over it. Now, again, things outside of your control, a storm, no way to get over it, but you can get through it. And storms come in a lot of different forms, right? We won't go into all of that in this episode, but a storm can look like a lot of different things. Mother Nature, somebody else who's coming up against you, who's trying to stop you from doing something, a lot of different ways you can encounter a storm. How can you get through it? And most importantly, how can you remain committed to the thing that you said you were going to do, the thing that you decided mattered to you before you got to this obstacle, right? If it mattered to you before, it should matter to you once you're facing this obstacle. How can you keep that commitment? How can you keep moving through? How can you find a way? And, of course, I'm going to say this, how can you get support if you need to in finding a way? That's another thing. When you come up against an obstacle, don't think, how am I going to do this all by myself? Is there a way for somebody else, someplace else, me going to another location, or whatever you need to do? Is there someone, someplace, something that can also support you in getting through it? And another thing that you have to remember when you're finding a way or coming up against an obstacle, me in this case with this podcast episode, I already know it's not going to be perfect. Not that I'm ever perfect, but I think the other episodes are pretty good. But I know because this isn't my usual setup, it's not going to be perfect. But I am committed to making it happen. And I would rather make it happen and move forward than sit on something because I don't think it's perfect and not follow through with my commitment. So that's something else I would offer. Don't worry about it being perfect. How can you get it done to the best of your ability with the resources you have at the time? How can you get it done to the best of your ability with the resources you have at the time? Not perfect, done. All right, so I hope this message resonates with you all as I go through the storm here, literally, and whatever kind of storm that you're going through in your life or in your business, you can find a way. Just give yourself a minute, think about it, figure out a way, and get some support around it. Okay, so thank you so much for listening as always. Hopefully this episode will sound good and it won't be too crazy. I really appreciate you guys for being here. And now you know what to do. Go out there, whether storming or not, and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.